Nothing I share here is financial advice. This is all based on my own experience, my strategy, and how I see the market. You're responsible for your own trades, so always do your own research, manage your risk, and never trade money you can't afford to lose. This content is meant to help you learn and think for yourself, not to copy or follow blindly. Let's keep it educational and intentional. Hello guys, welcome to Friday. Let's have a quick look at the local scenarios. First of all, on the price time chart, we can see that price is hitting resistance, and so far we don't have a break above that area, meaning no close above it. Because of that, I can't really aim for much higher yet. At the same time, we don't have any Fibonacci time confluence here, so I treat this level purely as support and resistance for now. It can still reject or break higher spot, but without time confluence, it's just a price level. We'll come back to that next week. Now let's take a look at the local range. Price is currently attempting to break out, and if that happens, of course I'd be happy because then the full draw from the mid-range would play out and the longs would profit more. But there are a few things I'm watching in case it fails. First, we have the downtrend line from the all-time high sitting above us, so another push higher could still result in a rejection. At this point, we need to watch if price can hold the range high after a breakout. If it breaks above and then comes back inside the range, it's clearly not a real breakout, and we could see a longer range or even another move lower. If price breaks higher and holds that area, then for me it means holding longs for higher prices and not looking to short the move. Looking at it locally, price is currently struggling at the range high, and we still don't have a close above it. That's why this area was a hedge and short zone for me yesterday, and I'm still in that trade. We'll take a closer look at it in a moment. Right now, I'm basically watching for two scenarios, either a rejection or a breakout. A rejection can happen directly from here or after one more push into the trend line, followed by a move back below the range high. Those are the two rejection scenarios. On the other hand, if price moves higher and holds above the range high, then we're likely looking at a breakout, or at least a move into higher levels. That might mean taking some small losses on shorts or hedges, but overall, the long plan would play out. That's exactly why I keep runners, not only for extra profit, but also to offset smaller losses from hedges. If price moves lower, then we'll look for new trades, but that's something we'll plan next week. For now, the mid-range is not really relevant for today, because based on the averages, we're unlikely to reach it over the weekend. With that said, let's take a look at the local level. First of all, that was the plan from yesterday. The aggressive trade would have been an entry on a 1H MSB, and the safer trade would be if price breaks above, then loses that level, and if it holds, we see a new high. So far, price followed the move higher. Basically, on the first area there was no SFP, and after reaching the second scenario, it didn't lose the SR level. So technically, in both scenarios, there was no valid short. Then we had another SFP. I was aware of it, and also mentioned that an SFP was possible and allowed for my trade. That means if a candle had closed above, I would have exited, or if price pushed slightly higher because my hard invalidation was just above that level. But yes, my invalidation was not hit, and we saw another rejection. First of all, I want to say that I traded my plan really badly here. As you can see from how I mapped out the scenarios, I basically entered earlier before price even reached one of the planned levels. That's the human factor, bad decision or bad timing. I'm not perfect, and I'm sorry if someone lost money. I hope it wasn't much and that you're ready for the next 100 trades. For me, I'm still in this trade, but honestly, one wick higher and I would have been stopped out as well. So that just shows I'm not perfect. If you want to follow my updates, you can join my Patreon. You'll get extra content and my real-time updates. You'll see not a perfect trader, but the reality, wins and losses. Sometimes I have bad entries or not the best decisions, but overall, over time, the performance is still solid. Not every trade is a win, not every trade is perfect, but consistency over time is what matters. Anyway, let's look at what we have now. For today, the average gain would be another SFP of the high. If that happens, we could see a spike higher, which would most likely stop out my short. I'm not really planning to short again unless I see clear weakness, especially if this trade gets stopped. What I would like to see is price reject and then lose the range high. At that point, we would have weakness, and I would aim for lower. If it holds above, then we could see higher prices. So if someone takes a short on a higher SFP, TP1 should be taken quickly. The better setup would be if price loses support. That's where the trade becomes stronger. Now, the average loss for today is around the Monday high, which is a nice TP level. We also have liquidity there, so that's an area where I would look to take profits on my current trade. To reach that level, I would like to see the 1H market structure break. Right now, we do have an SFP of the high, which is good, but the structure is still intact. Today's swing low aligns with the daily open range and the range high. That's the level keeping structure intact. As long as that level holds or price just chops around it, I'm not taking action. I don't long resistance here. If it moves higher, so be it. But for me, at resistance, it's either short or no trade. So for a move lower, I want to see structure break down, followed by a retest of the open range and the range high, maybe aligning with VWAP. That would be a nice area to look for a short setup, targeting the local lows or even lower. Of course, there can always be traps. Price could break structure bearish and then reclaim it quickly, stopping the trade. But that's the only clean setup I see right now. Otherwise, I'll just wait and do nothing. If price moves higher, I'll watch the reaction and candle closes. I might allow another SFP of the high, but I would close the position if I see candles closing inside or above resistance. My hard invalidation would be hit anyway if price pushes higher. That's the small update for this trade and today's average moves. If we get a bigger move, I'll update again. But for now, I'm just focusing on local levels and reacting to what price does. By the way, personally, I'm not taking new trades right now. I'm still in this one and don't want to risk more money. So I'll stay in this trade and see how it plays out. So a quick summary. Price is at resistance. No breakout so far. If price moves higher, I may allow another SFP. But I'll close the position if we get strong closes above or if my invalidation is hit. From there, I'll reassess for either continuation or weakness. For a move lower, I'm watching for a break below the 1H MSB level, a candle close below, and then a retest of that area as resistance. If that happens, the door opens toward the local lows, where I would take profits on the short. If you short that setup, the standard invalidation would be a new high, while an SFP is acceptable. That's the plan for today. We'll see where we stand over the next few days. I hope this was helpful or informative. As you can see, I make mistakes and sometimes have bad entries, but I also show how I handle them. Sometimes it's a loss, sometimes it's a bit of luck that my invalidation doesn't get hit overnight. That's the reality. Not every trade is managed perfectly. But I hope you appreciate the transparency. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one.